Hi, I'm Erica Kouzmanoff-Vymyslicky. I'm a teacher of the deaf and hard of hearing, special education teacher, and instructional coach at Carson Elementary School in Denver, Colorado. When we think about the biggest challenges once our schools reopen on a more traditional schedule, for me, I think that the social emotional needs of our students and staff needs to be our absolute number one priority. Giving ourselves the space, time, and resources to process the changes that we have experienced in the past year and more are going to be absolutely crucial in order to ensure that our students and our staff are able to continue on a successful trajectory through the coming years. In addition, I think that this period of time has really highlighted the inequities that exist not only in our educational systems, but also our society. So how do we restructure our systems in order to give all of our students the opportunities that they deserve? How do we not return to what was? How do we take what we had and make it better for all of our students? I think it's also important that we take our learning that we've acquired throughout this time to include in that restructuring of our educational system. How do we find all of the wonderful things that we've learned and the things that have happened to make what we have even better? And also that we give ourselves the grace to ease back in. We're not going from our current setup to 100% all back in all at once, let's go. We need time, students need time, and we will work through it together slowly and gracefully. Finally, I think when we consider this academic year, it's not been a lost year. It's been a time to reflect and find opportunities to improve our systems. And as long as we continue thinking about what have been the wins for ourselves as educators and for our students, that there are no challenges we won't be able to overcome in the future. Through digital ink, I really have felt like it has changed my teaching so much. For me, it's much more comfortable than using what I had been, which was just a stylus and a touchpad. So yeah, I can sit farther back. I can use a stylus and write. It's very comfortable. I have flexibility. I'm not tethered to my laptop at all times when I'm teaching students. And it was empowering. It made me feel like I was a regular teacher again. I also find that it's less equipment. I no longer need to carry a document camera or use my phone as a document camera because I can open an interactive tool to use as a whiteboard now. I feel like my lessons have become more collaborative with students and also more interactive. And as a teacher, that was something that I grieved very much when we went to remote learning because it was like part of who I was as a teacher was lost. Now that I have digital ink, I'm able to engage with my students in the ways that are comfortable to me, that are part of my teaching style, and that I know allow students to be successful. And it's been extremely positive for everyone. I also find it's a lot easier to adjust instruction in the moment in a remote environment when I have the digital ink. It's a lot easier to change my literacy lessons, to change my math lessons according to how students respond rather than having a pre-prepared deck of slides that I work through and wait, let me edit the text. I can just take my stylus and change the problem right there. It's very quick and easy and off we go. And so students have a higher quality of instruction because I have the technology that allows that to happen. And it's also challenged me to really take a lot of risks in how I teach and see what else is possible. As I'm pushing myself to change how I engage with students in a remote environment, it's also challenging my students to try new things as well. And I've been able to see them in so many different ways through the tools that we're using with digital ink, and they're really able to capitalize on their strengths as well. It's been amazing. I think it's sometimes a little bit scary to try a new tool, especially if you've never used a digital pen or tablet before. But, I guess remind yourself of all of the things that you have learned how to do in the past year. There, so many things I never thought I would do. Like this, I would never have done. And now it's no big deal. Here we are. So remind yourself of all of the things that you have learned how to do, and then tell yourself that you can do one more thing. It's one thing at a time. You can't do it all at once. It's not going to be perfect right out of the gate. And so just enjoy it. It's going to make things easier. The number one tip is that if you're using a digital slate, don't look down at it as you're writing. Look at the screen, and you're on your way. I really recommend practice playing with it, using it maybe just slowly as a mouse, integrate it into your day. And as you're using it throughout your instructional day, you're going to see where are the pieces that you can really start flexing your new tablet skills. I used it as a mouse today. Tomorrow I'm going to copy and paste. And then I'm going to open a collaborative whiteboard. And now I'm going to send the link to my students and we'll all annotate at the same time. So, also in part of that, knowing that it's not going to be perfect right away really is an opportunity to model that learning for your students as well. And so it seems silly, but it's like, oh, I'm trying something new. Watch, I'm going to troubleshoot. I'm going to, oh, I made a mistake. Here's how I'm going to talk myself through the mistake. And so it's a learning opportunity for your students as well to see how those problem solving skills come into play as an adult, as a working professional. And, just again, remind yourself you can't do it all at once. Try it bit by bit, and you'll be all the better for it. If students had access to these tablets, I think that it's probably seems like less of a barrier for students than it does for adults. So I guess I would start with that. As adults, we have a very structured schema of what a computer is and does, how you use a mouse, how you use a touchpad. But for children, especially in my class where I'm teaching primarily second and third graders, I found that the touchscreens, not touchscreens, I'm sorry, touchpad with the computer, touchpad, is a barrier for them. There's a lot of difficulty in motor skills, executive functioning, trying to figure out how to click, how to type there. And with a stylus, it models what they're comfortable with. They're used to writing. They've been writing since they started their school experience. So it really eliminates that barrier for students. So I think that it makes it a lot easier for them to engage versus having to type. They can just write. So I look at it as an opportunity for how do we take what students already know and are comfortable with and integrate that with technology so that it kind of levels up their learning. In a classroom, the tablets can be great for whiteboards. I love whiteboards and don't at the same time. They're kind of messy. The markers die. Uh, a digital pen tablet doesn't. It's a lot cleaner, and it does the same job, and kids will love it more because it's technology. Using software like Pear Deck is an excellent way to engage students through a Wacom pen tablet. And in my classroom, with precautions in place, I have been using my Intuos as a pass around, and the kids love it. They love to be teacher. They love to show their learning. Instead of them needing to get up and walk to the board, I hand them the tablet and they write. And that's been helpful for us as we have to keep distance from each other. They can stay at their desk and the tablet is moving instead of them moving to the board. So I really just think there's a lot of opportunity for students. It increases their accessibility to technology and complex systems, multi-steps. It really bridges the gap between what they know and what they're learning, which would be the device. So thank you. I hope you enjoy, and good luck with the rest of your year.